What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode, a special episode of On the Mic with Michael Flix. Usually this show comes out on weekends, but in light of recent events and things that have been going on, I thought it was necessary and appropriate to kind of break protocol and have a special episode of On the Mic with Michael Flix. Today I have here one of the assistant basketball coaches at Glen High School. My guy, Roman Macias. I appreciate you coming on the show, man.
Mike, man, thanks for having me. Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely, man. Now, if you pay attention to San Diego high school basketball, or Instagram, or the news here in San Diego, I'm pretty sure you saw the story of what happened at the Division II state championship basketball game at Coronado High School versus Glen. Coronado won the game on a shot at the buzzer, which should have been, the story. But after the game, some players and fans took it upon themselves to actually throw tortillas at the Glen team. The team is predominantly made up of Hispanic players. I went to Glen. I'm an alumni of Glen. I actually used to coach at Glen as well. And so obviously when I saw it, I was like, it hit close to home. But even more so than it hitting close to home, it's just not right. It's just not right, man. So it's not even just because it's a school I went to and it's people that I know personally. It's just not right. It's just not right, man. So and I like I was telling Rome, we were texting back and forth. I felt the way that there wasn't much I could do about it, and I felt like my hands were kind of tied and there was really nothing I could do. But I was like, hold on, I have a show, I have a small platform here in San Diego, and I could use my platform to try to make some change, man. So I put the invitation out there that I'd like someone that was there in the building on that day to join me on the show. And my guy Rome reached out to me, man, so we're here now, man. I appreciate you joining me, bro.
Yeah, definitely. I just definitely want the truth to come out, what really went down, Obviously there's a lot of stuff out there, true stuff, not true stuff, At the end of the day, it was a bad situation for everybody around, And for me, I just want, some solution, and hopefully moving forward we won't run into this type of stuff, and we'll have something set in place where, we can avoid stuff like this,
Absolutely. I'm curious about how everything came to. I mean, in my opinion, it's all just rooted in racism. But I'm curious about kind of everything that led up to it, although it's not that important. I say that because you guys played them in the CIF championship game maybe a week or two, maybe sure. a week and a half earlier, and then saw them again in the state championship. And so when I saw this, I'm thinking, like, well, there's some bad blood? Was there some carryover from the last game? Did you guys hear of, like, from your players about their players trash talking or anything racist in that first game or anything like that?
No, nothing like that. That game was a competitive game too. It was a first half wasn't so great. We made a nice little run in the second half to bring us back into the game. And from what I took from that game, I want to say about 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter in that game. Wayne McKinney had a fast break, pretty much wide open. He got a turnover in the half court and jumped the passing lane, and pretty much on his own out in the front court. And Coach Fed, instructed to give a foul. It was a time situation. I think at the time we were down 4. We didn't want to lose any more time on the clock. We had fouls to give. So our guy gave a foul. I was expecting our guy kind of just to, come behind and maybe do a back tip foul or something like that, And he just made a mistake and wrapped the guy up a little bit too hard. We did not maliciously intend to hurt the kid, Wayne. I've been hearing they've been saying, Fed is intentionally went after those guys just because they left his club team or whatever, it has nothing to do with that. Mm-hmm. So I've been hearing a lot of rumblings, but I think it kind of goes back to that play,
Gotcha.
So after that play happened, one of their coaches chirped at Fed, he was at the scores table just kind of, trying to tell Rowe, why did you foul him like that? We're kind of expecting just a normal play on the ball,
Right.
And he's a player, it happens, you get caught up and coach tells you to give a foul, and sometimes players don't give it, the way they should, and
mm-hmm.
was it malicious? What did we do intently, to injure the kid? No, but their bench stood up right away, chirped some of the Fed, and of course, Fed, chirped back to them because, at the end of the day, you shouldn't be interacting with your opposing teams, especially the coaches,
Right.
I mean, that's before the game and after the game, and so, of course, when somebody chirps at you, you're going to chirp back, and Fez says, I don't know you, why are you talking to me, pretty much, and so they teed up both benches, and the game ends, we end up losing. Great game, we fought back,
mm-hmm.
and give them credit, they ended up winning the game,
Absolutely.
I didn't think much anything about that play, and until the following week later, into the championship game. And so we go into the game, led throughout pretty much, I didn't really hear anything, from the fans or stands about, obviously I'm in tune to the game, but I didn't hear anything out of line, pretty much. It was a great game, probably one of the best games I've ever been involved with, It was back and forth, especially in the fourth quarter, And once it got into the fourth quarter, they ended up taking the lead, going to overtime. We missed some free throws to win the game. And overtime was a great game. Alex Crawford had an amazing overtime. Kid's a great player. And one of the things that disappoints me about the whole thing is the kid had a great shot, and he's not getting the shine, and the shine should be on him,
Absolutely.
So as the game ended, obviously we lose on the buzzer beater, and we're just waiting, as the video shows, we're just waiting, to get our handshake and congratulate them for winning, And as you can see in the videos, the head coach came up to hug Alex, and it shows in the video, he hugs him, says something along the lines.
And I'm sorry to cut you off.
Sure.
Not everyone knows. The basketball community, I'm sure, knows, but not everyone knows. And at this point, all of San Diego has seen the video. Who is the head coach that we see? Because we see a bunch of African-American coaches.
Sure.
We see a couple of white coaches,
Sure.
if I'm not mistaken. So who is the head coach that you're talking about that came and hugged Alex?
So the head coach, he's a shorter gentleman. He's got like a kind of a beard, wears glasses, kind of bald on top,
Okay.
So came up to hug Alex, and then the assistant coach there, the gentleman, the dark-skinned black guy with the glasses, I don't know his name, but he was standing right there, and he was hyping him up. I just kind of noticed the first game and this game, he was kind of like their hype man, before the game, kind of, really clapping up, being demonstrative, and hey, that's cool, do your thing, man.
Yeah.
That's what you're there for, And after the game, he was kind of doing the same thing, you just won the championship, so that's cool, For all I care, you can do 20 victory laps if you want, you just won pretty much the state championship, so you deserve to celebrate, I get that, And so after the coach gives the dude a hug, he pretty much turns to our bench and says, that's why you don't talk shit. Get the fuck out of here, you losers. Something along those lines. This is the
hype man coach?
No, this is the head coach. This is the head coach. As the coach is saying that, the hype man coach is pretty much, we're literally from here to the wall, man. And he's, up in our face, pretty much clapping, staring at, kind of, mad dogging us, kind of like what I felt, And I was kind of focused, just kind of looking around, not focused on one person, but literally you hear the head coach, use those words, those choice of words, And of course, like I was telling you earlier, there's really no way to react to that, It's pretty hard for me, especially for me, I know for Fed and a lot of guys that are on our program, they're just not going to just take that,
Right.
I mean, obviously, we're not looking to throw fists or nothing like that, but we're not going to let you disrespect us.
Right.
We just played our fucking asses off, you know what I mean? And we deserve respect, and so at the end of the day, that was uncalled for, so of course we're going to chirp back, and Fed, approached him, why are you disrespecting like that? Why are you disrespecting us like that, And so as he approached, everybody else started approaching, coaches and players, and of course, we came back with some choice words. Fed came back with some choice word. I mean, after the whole thing's over, I don't know if that was the way to go about it, but at the end of the day, like I said, those your emotions are running high. You just lost a tough game that you just battled in, and of course, somebody's going to talk shit to you. You're going to give it back, right? And so as we approach them, we're just, the little scuffle happens, a little shoving back and forth, And at the time, I was, saying some heated words, especially directed to the other coaches, because it was uncalled for, what they did, And if you are really upset what happened in the previous game, we were just making a strategic play. Did we think our player was going to go out there and bear hug the guy down for pretty much tackle him, I guess you could say? We didn't expect that. That's not the way we coach. But that's the way it happened, And that's just a strategic play. We're trying to win a championship, And
before you keep going, of course, I feel like, people are going to say, of course he's going to say that. He's one on Featherly's staff. I can say, and of course, I used to play at Orange Glen, but I can say, and I feel like a lot of people around San Diego know my character by now, I know for a fact Featherly does not coach that way. He's coached at Orange Glen. He's coached guys and girls. He's had his travel ball club for many years, and I know for a fact Coach Featherly, I've never seen and I've never heard and I've never experienced anybody say anything about Coach Featherly instructing a player to take a hard foul on it, like maliciously, like try to take a kid down with it. He'll say go foul him, like a back tip or like slap his arm or,
totally.
You know what I mean? But Featherly has never ever one time done that. So I felt like people would be like, of course Rome would say that, but I wanted to also read.
Yeah, I've been with the Orange Glen program for 8 years, and my kid played for Coastal Elite since the 5th grade. I've never seen any coaches from Coastal Elite or Orange Glen do anything maliciously. We play hard, man. We play hard. That's our reputation. We just get after it. He coaches us hard. He coaches players hard, and they kind of take the persona of him. And so I felt that they were kind of upset because of that. And yeah, they won the game. They, like I said, they have every right to do their victory laps and do what they do. And at that point, after he hugged his player, all I thought should have happened is the whole team should just walk back to their bench, and get in line and fall in line and let's start shake hands, and let's do the ceremony. Let's receive our medals. Let's get your recognition. Let's get our recognition or whatnot, But it didn't happen that way, And so as the scuffle was breaking out, at the time I didn't realize what was happening. I was just kind of caught up in my emotions, and I'm in all the videos. It doesn't look good. I definitely didn't want it to be like that, especially when they're like, pinpointing the tortillas. My face is like the one that's spotted out, and that's a bad look, and definitely that's not was my intention to make it a bad look. But at the end of the day, I want those people held accountable to show some respect to us, especially when we're trying to teach young adults here, how to move on in life, And, you guys just take it in the chin. We took a loss, we took it in the chin, and they decided to take it to another level, and throw the tortillas. Like I said, in the moment, I didn't realize it until I left the gym, talking to my son, who else is on the staff, and he said, man, did you see those tortillas flying through the air? And I'm like, what are you talking about, and not really. And he's like, yeah, there's tortillas. So when I got home and checked the video, it's there. It's totally blatant. And they weren't doing it in a celebration, And I've been seeing all over, like they've been saying, oh, it's been done in college games. UC Santa Barbara, I believe, a few other schools, I'm the biggest college basketball fan there is, man. And I've never seen that in the 25, 30 years that I've been watching college basketball, And if it is, they didn't make it in a celebration. Obviously, once the buzzer goes off, if that was your deal, then you start throwing the tortillas towards your players up in the air like frisbees, like your graduation cap. But in the video, it shows they directly threw those tortillas in our direction, And, it should have, some of those people shouldn't have came out of the stands. I totally get that, if the people don't come out of the stands and we don't, step up to the response of how the coach responded to us, we don't get to the tortilla throwing, and that's what bothers me the most, because the tortilla thing would have never occurred if the coach doesn't, come over to our bench and say what he says, And I'm going to take it to the grave. I heard what he said, man, and nobody can tell me any different, And if you go watch the film, you can almost read his lips, by each word coming out of his mouth. He's saying that, and he's pointing to the exits, and you don't just do this in celebration. I've never seen that, So he was, directing all his energy towards us at that time, when I feel his energy should be directed to his team. They just won the championship. Let us be us. We were over there taking it like men. And they decided to do what they did. And it's uncalled for, like I said in the beginning, super sad situation all the way around, not just for Orange Glen, for Coronado too, like my heart hurts for Alex Crawford, dude played a hell of a game, man, and I feel, he didn't get as much shine as his other teammate, but they're both great players, and this was his coming out party, I kind of felt, and he doesn't get the shine, I feel bad for the kid, man, because he played a hell of a game. He kept his team in overtime, and with his teammate out, he carried them, and he definitely should be getting the shine, and now he's not getting it, and for our side, for our guys, yeah, we took an L, and you take L's all the time, and but for this one, it's going to hurt a little bit more because it's your last one, and it's not that you just took the L and you always remember it as an L, but you're going to remember what happened after the game, and especially for our seniors, they can't make up for it, this is it, and that's how they ended their season, and that's disappointing, and it's not fair to them, it's not fair to them, it's not fair to Alex, it's not fair to the players on the Coronado team that didn't throw the tortillas, At the same time, it's not fair to San Diego basketball, And it's a bad look for everybody all the way around, It's just not Coronado and Orange Glen, it's the whole San Diego, Now this has reached coast to coast, Now everybody's going to have a bad look on the community of San Diego, and the basketball community of San Diego, And that's not right, I think San Diego's worked really hard to make a name for himself, I think, I don't know, 15 years ago, I would say we were far behind from LA and the NorCal teams, but now, dude, we're right there, And this year shows it, especially, I mean, it's a little different year, there's circumstances, but a lot of teams, from San Diego made it to championships, state playoffs, and we got a few winners, right? So, but what's everybody going to remember about this season,
exactly.
And they're going to remember this, and it's just sad,
Mm-hmm. That was, other than the whole thing being just upsetting, that was one of the things that was really, really disappointing for me, man. I'm a really big, I try to do my best to really hold the flag for San Diego, and especially San Diego basketball, because, I mean, I'm a media guy, so I cover everything, but basketball is where I started and it's my first love, so it's where my heart is, mostly. You know what I'm saying? And the thing that really bothered me, and I was sharing it with so many people, is the fact that 2 San Diego teams got to play each other for the state championship, and this is what happens. Right. Like, it would have still been disappointing if we were up north or playing an LA team and this happened to us. But the fact that a North County team came down to the south, or went over to Coronado, came down to the south, but I'm going to say went over to Coronado, which is at San Diego.
Sure. And
then this happens, you know what I mean? It's like, come on, Diego, like, we're better than that.
We're better than this, for sure.
We're better than that.
Definitely.
So what's been, I mean, it's only been, not even 5 days, like 3 days now. So what's been kind of the temperature and the mood around Escondido and especially around Orange Glen High School? Yeah,
like I said, it's hot. People are hot. Like I said, it's they have every right to be hot. I guess we just got to find a way to move forward. And how to become better from this.
Mm-hmm.
And people are gonna be hot for a while. And that's just understandable. But at the same time, at some point those people are going to have to step back too, and just kind of let the chips fall where they may, and once they fall, hopefully people are making the right decisions to implement the right protocols for this not to happen again, and if that means a coach needs to be fired, or if that means that they need to leave the CIF championship, I hope that doesn't happen, but something along those lines needs to happen, just to deter this from happening at other schools or other communities,
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, I would say everybody in Escondido, is pretty hot, and just not Escondido. I would say, everywhere. I was born in Mexico. My mom brought me over here when I was 2 months old, and I call myself a Mexican American. I became a naturalized citizen, and I love America. I mean, they gave me opportunity, gave my family opportunity. My family went about it the right way, and we're here now, and I have kids that are Mexican American, and they're half white, half Mexican, So it like you said earlier, it hits home, man. Like I said, I don't want my kids to feel that it's shameful to be Mexican or whatever,
Right.
Or at the same time, I don't want them to be categorized, with being racist, and stuff like that, because that's just going to be generalized for our community now, in the scene of basketball, and that's not right, everybody's pretty much equal here, that's how I feel everybody is,
1,000%.
You're going to treat somebody you're going to receive respect, somebody's going to treat you with respect, you're going to give it back, and at the end of the day, they didn't do that, and it's hard, to try to not to let yourself go overboard. Like I said earlier, I don't like the way I conducted myself that day, but at the same time, you almost have to let it be known.
You're human. Like it's it's like we spoke a little bit, before we sat down and turned the cameras and mics on. It's you can only respond cordially or peacefully for so long. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna compare a kid tossing a tortilla to what happened with George Floyd, but I'm going to compare like the response to both things. I'll compare those things. Like people were being peaceful and trying to be cordial with the protests for a long time.
Sure.
And then you see you see what happened with George Floyd, and now everybody takes to the streets. Now again, COVID, people are in the house, some people just wanted to act out, but I feel like largely people were sick of being peaceful when things like this happen. Right. And it's just like you said, like I'm sure you wouldn't want your kids to watch that video and see, the way you reacted.
Totally.
But at the end of the day, like you can only be peaceful for so long. You can only like sit back and be like, yeah, it was unfortunate that he said that, but I'm going to move forward with grace. Like in a perfect world, we would all do that.
Totally.
But you can only do that but so many times.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say going back and forth, but speaking with people about this on Twitter and in the comment section of a few posts on Instagram. And at first, I felt like them not being able to retain their CIF championship was a harsh punishment, but I don't think it's too harsh of a punishment after I think about it, man. It's a team sport. It's a team sport, and if it would have been that a kid, and it's happened before to where, like, I remember Sarah, the year I graduated high school in 2006, just an example. Sorry, I go on weird tangents. I graduated high school 2006. In 2006, Sarah was one of the best teams in San Diego. I don't know if you remember that. They only lost like 3 or 4 games, maybe 5 games all year. I think they won CIF and everything. But at the end of the year, it came out that a whole bunch of their kids weren't eligible, didn't have the grades. And so they had to forfeit the league championship, forfeit the CIF championship, and all those wins. Is it unfair to the kids that had the grades? Yeah. But it's a team sport, and someone did something that they should not have been doing, that they shouldn't have done. I feel like this is the same situation. I feel like not the same situation, but the same circumstances. Yeah, it'd be extremely unfair for kids like Alex and Wayne and whoever else on that team, players and coaches who didn't do anything wrong.
Sure.
It would be unfair. But I feel like if a punishment that harsh isn't issued, it's just going to be like, well, I mean, we could get away with this. If we want to be foul, if we want to be racist, if we want to act out, we could do it, and we could probably get away with it because they got to walk away with their state championship, and they did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it would be unfair for people who didn't do anything wrong. But
it's not making a statement.
Some things are more important than a trophy in a basketball season.
Totally.
And at the end of the day, like, I'm going to say it. At the end of the day, Wayne and Alex, I don't know about the other kids on the team, but Wayne and Alex, they got years more basketball to play.
Sure.
Of course they want their state championship. Of course they do. But they got a lot more basketball to play. They're probably both going to end up being pros. They got a lot of basketball left to play. Like, this isn't the end of the road. You know what I mean?
Right.
And everybody's going to remember this issue and what happened at the end of the game. But people are also going to remember the amazing year that Wayne had. People are also going to remember, like you said, how when his teammate went down, Alex carried his team and hit the shot to win the state championship. Like, people are going to remember those things along with what happened after the game. And so, like, did they earn it? Do they deserve it? Yes, but I also feel like the team deserves to have that stripped away because of the actions of that coach and whatever players threw the tortillas.
Sure.
That's how I feel. You know what I mean? And for when I knew I was going to come on and do this episode, I was like, I don't know if I should really say that because I don't want to have to be at a basketball game and be looking over my shoulder. But I'm not that dude that I'm strategic in what I say, but I'm not that dude that bites his tongue and worries about that.
Right.
Like my heart is always right and my intentions are always pure, and so I sleep comfortably with that. You know what I mean? And so if I get on here and say something like that, what I just said, and someone doesn't like it or disagrees with it, then it just is what it is, man. You know what I mean? Hopefully they'll have the knowledge to come and have a conversation with me, and it doesn't turn into something else. But you know, I'm okay with coming on here and saying what I said and living with what happens. With that I am.
Yeah, no, like you're saying, something there needs a big statement to be made, and that's a huge statement. You know, you know, for me, you know, like for me personally, I think the main thing needs to happen, you know, is the coaches needs to be let go. You know, I
agree.
I mean, and if they keep their championship, I wouldn't be opposed to that, you know. But at the end of the day, you know, this whole thing occurred because the coach decided to, you know, to spit the words he spit. You know, I mean. And you got to be held accountable for that, you know. And at the end of the day, you know, some of those kids that didn't throw the tortillas, Wayne and Alex and some of the other guys, you know. I mean, it's kind of unfair for them, you know. They're just kids, you know what I'm saying, you know. And so I feel the adult needs to get the full blunt of this, you know.
Absolutely.
And for me, it's on his shoulders, you know, and especially him and his assistant, you know, they were super unclassy, you know, from the beginning, you know. I mean, even when we showed up there, man, nobody, I would say one person greeted me, you know, but nobody from the coaching staff greeted me. Nobody greeted our head coach or told us where we were going to go suit up and where we could get water, you know. And like I said, the only person that came up to me was the guy running the scores table, I believe he was doing, but you know, so they were upset for some reason, you know. I can't figure it out. Like I said, I believe it's from the play prior, you know. Who knows? I can't really speak on the Coastal Elite stuff, you know, so I don't know if that's what their beef is, you know, or whatnot, you know. But on that, I could really say is like that happens to them all the time. That happens to the AAU scene all the time, you know. Like I said, my kid played the Coastal Elite since the 6th grade. Pretty much, you know, and they've got players yanked from them left and right, you know what I mean? And look, and they're still here.
Yeah.
You know, one of the top programs in San Diego, you know. Are they on the EYBL or the Adidas circuit every year? No. but they produce players and they develop players, and when the players at a high level, and when the players get good enough, sometimes you got to go somewhere else to get exposed. Would I love them to stay with Coastal Elite? Yeah, because they're a great program, but at the end of the day, that had nothing to do with it, and that's what kind of makes me upset too, trying to bring that into it, and at the end of the day, you take fans out of it, you take everything out of it, and you just put the two teams on the court and just let what happened happen, it doesn't occur. The only thing that happens is the coach is saying what he says, and the fans don't do anything because there would be no fans there. But if you get what I'm saying, what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So like at the end of the day, for me, I think the biggest statement that can be made is that coaching staff needs to be let go, And there were a couple guys on the staff that didn't get involved as much, but at the end of the day, for me, the head coach and the hype man, they need to go, man. They need to go.
I agree.
At the end of the day, once the thing that got me the most is you go out of your way to come to our sideline. I get it that it's spilled over to us, but when the hype man comes over to us and pretty much mad dogs us and give us his little hype clap, at that point he should turn around after and start walking to his bench and get in line to shake our hands, and let us tell him great game, and it didn't happen. So I feel those two they need to get the axe quick.
I agree with that. I think both things should happen. I think that coach should choose to step down, and if he doesn't do that, I think he should be let go, and I think they should have to vacate that championship. Because I feel like, and I know people, it seems harsh, but I just don't. And I've said it, and I'll say it again. I don't see what other punishment could be harsh enough to show that this is not acceptable. And this will not be tolerated. What else can be done to show that we're not
sure
putting up with this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then because if you don't, it's just going to be slid under the rug, and on top of it, we just got to come together as San Diego, and like I said, that thing with Cathedral Catholic and Lincoln you were talking about earlier, it's happened before. I went to school in Ramona. I graduated from Ramona, and didn't really realize it until after I stopped playing. Our school used to dress up as Hicks, and just because everybody thought we were the Hicks on the hill or whatnot. But at the end of the day, it was both fans, and I didn't realize it until afterwards. Our fans would get crazy too and say some shit that's wrong. You know what I mean? And
I'm so sorry because I'm gonna forget. My listeners know I'll forget stuff all the time. I heard something about Orange, because I want to be fair. I heard something about Orange Glen fans throwing water at someone or pouring water on someone. Have you heard anything about that?
I've just seen those stuff that's been on social media. Supposedly, I heard that the other assistant coach, not the hype man, went into the crowd or something like that. I didn't catch that part.
Well, see, what I heard was that Orange Glen people were pouring.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I heard that they were talking smack to them or whatever, and his fiance or his wife who was up in the stands getting that from them, and supposedly he went up in the stands or whatever, and you see all over social media that the coach went to start up a fight. I have no idea, I did not catch that, didn't see that out of the corner of my eye or nothing, But at the end of the day, if that was really happening, I don't blame the dude, man. You know what I mean? If somebody's really being derogatory towards my wife or my girlfriend, I wouldn't be sitting there either, know? Right. And at the end of the day, like I said, fans are fans, you know what I mean? And you're really not going to take that part out of the game, in any sport, Fans are going to come and be fans, So you got to kind of mentally, as a coach and as a player, kind of shut that stuff out, But at the same time, we're all human, I mean, if you're really throwing water on somebody, like the tortilla thing, like I take that as you spitting on me,
right.
You know what I mean? And like I told you, I didn't realize it was going down, And if I would have realized, or one of those would have hit me, I probably would have been hotter, and maybe it would have tipped me over the edge,
Right.
And so, it's like, well, I don't care, you go to cheer your team, and you might say some stuff here and there, but you shouldn't be, threatening other people enjoying the game or, stepping out of line, especially if you're on your side, you should stick with your side, Who cares what the other fans are doing, Cheer your team on, that's what you're supposed to do, But at the end of the day, we can't control fans, and I probably don't doubt that didn't happen, in my impression. If you look at the way things are going on social media now, both sides are going at it, and it's a bad look for Orange Glen,
I agree.
I mean, you got people responding to Wayne, when he's trying to apologize, up in his comments, that's not right, man.
No,
you know what I mean? And it's sad, man. That's all I can really say, And it's like I've never really thought that, I would experience something like that in basketball. I've been coaching in San Diego County for 18 years. This is my 18th season, and this is probably the worst experience I've ever had. And like I said, I've had people cuss me out. I've had people, pretty much say shit, you know, all kinds of shit, you know, and you know, hey, just let it come off the shoulder and not think anything about it, you know. But this one, it's hard to do that, you know what I mean? And like I said, it blew my mind, you know. And so hopefully, you know, we can figure something out. Hopefully, moving forward, I think, you know, I've seen people talking about getting groups together, you know, and shit like that should happen. You know, it sounds kind of corny, you know. You don't really think we need stuff like that, but really, at the end of the day, dude, look what the climate is. Look what people are doing. You know, we need it. You know, and you know, so I would be about it. You know, I mean, you know, so hopefully people can figure something out. We can come together as a community, you know, all San Diego, and figure something out. You know, and it's like it's not right for this to continue to keep on happening. You know,
that was going to be my next question. Not that I expect you to necessarily have an answer for it right now, but there needs to be some, like, I don't want to just say, oh, fire the coach, take away the championship, and then that's the end. Like, there needs to be like some type of healing and some type of I don't want to say camaraderie, but some type of coming together to where like there's a end to this. I was trying to think of another word, but like a amicable end to this. You know what I mean? I don't want it to just be, well, they got punished and all right, let's, you know what I mean? Like that. I feel like because when you end things that way, it's like it just leaves not necessarily it'll happen again if people are punished correctly, but it just leaves bad blood. Like there's some people that are like, I'm never gonna forget what happened, and it's just I'm that's how I feel. But not everyone's gonna feel that way, you know what I mean? So I'm just wondering like what's the way that we amicably like end this for both sides, you know what I mean? But I guess that's I mean, maybe we'll know by the time this interview's over. They're having the meeting and everything, so
you know, I'd love to see, you know, both schools come together, man. You know, I mean, obviously it might be a tense situation, but you know, I mean, we just got to step in each other's communities, you know, and understand each other, you know. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, Orange and Glen is 80% Latino, you know. What else did you expect, you know? Especially, you know, tortilla. The tortilla is a big part of their big part of their traditions, you know, Mexican traditions, you know what I mean? And it's not confetti. That's all I can say, you know. I mean, and so definitely, I think it would be a big deal if we could get the schools together and other schools together, both schools together and other schools together to figure something out, or just have like a monthly meeting, you know, just talk about issues. You know, it doesn't have to be necessarily stuff that's going on, but just getting awareness out there on stuff that's happening throughout the whole country, throughout the whole world. You know what I mean? And stuff is trending like that, you know, especially after the kind of what's gone throughout the past year, you know, and hopefully it can trend that way and stuff can work, you know, and not just put it together for a few months and all of a sudden after a few months it dissipates, you know what I mean? It has to have longevity for this to sustain, you know, and that's what we need, you know. We need something, you know, some type of thing. And one guy I follow on Twitter, you know, I don't know him personally, just kind of just coach against him as the coach at Lincoln, you know, and that dude gets after it, man. He's about the community. Jeff Hart. Yep. And I love that guy, man. You know, I don't really know him, but he's about the community. He's about getting things right, you know, and we need those type of people, you know. And maybe it's time for Orange Glen to step up, you know, to start things like that, you know. And maybe not if we don't get together the community, just start within our own community, you know, have an outreach program, you know, of different cultures or whatever it may be, you know. But something needs to start, and like I said, I can't give you the plan or how it's going to work, you know, but we need to start somewhere, you know, and we got to keep it going for a long period of time, you know, not just something that just to pop up and just disappears, you know. But yeah, I mean, it has to happen, man. From all of that we're all talking about, from the disciplinary stuff to everything, everybody coming together, you know. So yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, man. I agree. Before we get out of here, maybe I should have done it at the top of the show, but before we get out of here, I just want to say to the players that, you know, for the Coronado players who didn't act out, and I'm going to just talk about the players because the coaches, they grown. For the players that didn't act out, man, I feel really bad for you, man. It really sucks that your last high school game and nobody's talking about the fact that you won a state championship. It really, really sucks, man. And again, like I said, for, you know, and again, I'm going to keep saying their names because these are the kids that I know and that I've met, Alex and Wayne. And I said it on my Twitter, but for a guy like Wayne who made it to the championship last year in his first year in California, playing basketball here, and makes it to the championship and loses to like this low-key super team, and then make it back to the championship and win CIF and then win a state championship, and nobody really gets to talk about it because of this. And then you got a guy like Alex, who was one of the best players in San Diego last year but played on a bad team, and then transfers and wins a championship and then wins a state championship and hits the shot. And nobody really gets, nobody gets to talk about it because we have to talk about this. You know what I mean? It just really sucks, man. So I wanted to make sure, like I said, I probably should have said it at the top of the show, but I wanted to make sure I come on the show and say, like, Alex, you are the truth, bro. You deserve everything that's supposed to be coming to you. Wayne, same for you, man. I really wish things could be different for y'all, man. But sometimes, like, things have to take priority over other things. But you guys are definitely deserving of everything. And you guys had a hell of a year, and we should be talking about the year that you gentlemen had, that your team had, as opposed to this. I definitely wanted to make sure I come on here and say that. Roman, my guy, I appreciate you coming on here, man. Do you feel like you said it all? Anything else you want to share?
No, like I said, I think we covered it. You know, like I said, I just wanted our side to be heard. You know, you know, at the end of the day, if KU side just could reveal what happened at the end of that video, it's pretty much on the video. You know, so I don't see how it could go any other way on their decision. So hopefully they make the right decision tonight or however long it takes them, you know, and hopefully we can move forward, you know.
Mm-hmm. And again, I saw a lot of different narratives coming out from both sides, really. And again, I wasn't there, and so I don't know everything that's true and everything that's false. But there's a few things I was saying. I was like, I don't think that happened. I doubt if that happened. So I was like, you know what? Let me have someone that was there come and talk. And also, if you were a Coronado fan or player or coach and you were there and you'd like to come and share your side as well, I'm open to that too. I'm not a one-sider. I'm for San Diego, and I want things to be fair. So if you're from the Coronado community and you were there and something wasn't mentioned on the show that happened that you feel like should have been mentioned, the platform is open for you as well. I just wanted to make sure I put that out there. My guy Roman, I appreciate you coming up, man.
Thanks for having me, man. I'm really stoked what you got going here, man. It's just, you got to come up going, and it's been really fun to watch, you know. So
thank you, man. I appreciate that. Next time we're going to talk about some fun stuff, man. Next time I have you.
Totally.
It's been another episode of On the Mic with Michael Flix. I appreciate you guys tapping in, man. I'll be back soon. Take care.